Welcome to Spinnaker's World Cup Review. I'm your host, Bobby Lessen. This is Winston Davis. So, we're going to look at a few good games here, that make for some great football. Or here in the United States, we call it soccer. Let's look at the dubbed match, soccer versus football, England versus U.S., which is great. I believe we won because, we tied the game, and so there's no definitive thing about like who's gonna call it football, who's gonna call it soccer. Nobody scored any goals, so like it's still up in the air. Let's see. The U.S. took 10 shots on goal, versus England's 8, which led to some great play, and it almost inevitably came down to this, pure, sportsmanship of, how they played the game. What do you think, Winston?
I think it was a very intense game. It was very to the wire. Everyone was on their toes for.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real nail biter for the full 90 minutes, and it. I know people are disappointed there was no definitive winner.
Yeah.
But it was a great game. I mean, you have to appreciate, great competition.
Mm-hmm.
When it ends in a draw, the defense was obviously great by the U.S. and also by England. No one was able to score, unfortunately. But just the way I've been surprised at the U.S. this whole World Cup, the way they've been executing. There's Christian Pulisic, leading the U.S. in goals so far. He's been a real key factor. In the U.S., I think.
Crossbar was not his friend that game.
No.
The crossbar did not help him at all.
No.
So talk to me about was it Harry Kane or Henry Kane?
Yeah, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I know going into this game, not going into this game, but a few days before the game, he was examined by doctors for ankle or something. I can't remember exactly what it is. So, people weren't so sure about how he was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those days, not a bad day, not a good day. Overall, I think, for one, from the U.S., first of all, they've come a long way. They're really doing a lot more than people expected them to do. And, they held on against England, which I can respect. England's a great team. The U.S. is obviously a great team, too. And, it was a great game, to say the least.
England in the beginning came out with a strong showing.
Yeah. Controlling
and
possession.
Yeah. And so it was kind of funny because looking at the possession report, they only had to buy 10% of more field play, and it was actually good for them, but it was bad for us is because we caused more fouls, and so that detracts from play and that detracts from everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all in all, it was a great game. Had a lot to say about it, in other places, and I was following some people on social media, and they were all hyped up about it because it was what was the social media hype about it?
The football versus soccer debate. They said if England won, it'd be called football. If the U.S. won, soccer. I say, it came out to a draw, so let's just keep it how it is, In England, they say football. In the U.S., they say soccer, I guess that's the draw, That's just how it is.
I think the funniest one that I saw was the Lay's commercial between Peyton Manning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
Where it was David Beckham and Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning walks into his house, and like David Beckham is sitting there eating his Lay's chips.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, just over here watching football," and Peyton Manning's like, "That's soccer," And then they pulled out this dictionary and they looked up what soccer was and what football was. It was like football is a brown oval ball, like the ones over here. And then David Beckham at the end, he's like, I know what soccer is. I own a team. He was like, what did you just say? It was kind of funny to me that everybody got in on that one. And it was like, it was so funny just watching social media erupt on it.
Yeah.
the other big game is England versus
The
Wales.
Battle of the UK.
The Battle of the UK, the neighbors themselves.
Yeah.
It was hard fought, and social media again bringing up a lot of good stuff. But there was 2 goals, man. 2 goals by Marcus Rashford. That he was great in that game.
Yeah.
So it. During the whole time I was watching the game,
Yeah.
I was on edge. I was just like, oh my gosh, because it's the battle for the UK, man.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna prevail, And
Yeah.
then when you guys went up 2-0, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was watching that here at one of our on-campus restaurants, and it was crazy because everyone had another game on, the U.S. and Iran.
Mm-hmm.
But I was right there with 5 other people with my laptop on the table watching the England game, and whenever England would score a goal, we'd start celebrating. Everyone else is just watching the other game, and it was pretty funny. But they did. It started off slow. I was a little worried at first that it was gonna draw or whatever, but then as soon as Rashford came in with that first goal, I felt pretty good about it. And then top it off with another goal, and then ended off the game with 3 goals, 3-0. That's really good. I mean, for Wales, obviously they haven't had the best showing at the World Cup, but in a crucial game like this, I feel like England stepped up to the plate. A lot of people thought it would be closer, but England, they showed why they're England. Why they're a powerhouse in this sport. You know what I mean?
England dominated play though.
Yeah.
They dominated with 65% of possession.
Yeah.
Way more shots on goal though.
Yeah.
A lot more. 18. Was it 18 shots on goal?
Wow.
So not all of them materialized, but the funny thing about Marcus Rashford is plays for Manchester United.
Yeah.
And did you know that this is his first World Cup showing?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
First World Cup showing that I've seen. I went back and looked through some of his records, and I can't see where he showed up.
I'll tell you, I'm a Manchester United fan myself, so I follow him, and off the field he's a great guy, he's a great person. During the pandemic, he donated food throughout the UK to help feed the kids hungry during the pandemic. He's a great guy, and he deserves it. He deserves the skill and the talent he has for the sport. And he's put on a great showing against Wales to help them move on to the knockout round where England will play Senegal this coming week. So that's gonna be a good one. Yeah,
it's true.
It's gonna be a good one.
They have a lot going on for them. We'll see where England goes in this next round.
Yeah.
Senegal played a hard-fought game too, and so they're not going to be easily knocked off.
No.
Let's move on to one of the other big games of the World Cup.
The game that was simultaneously played with the England and Wales.
Yes, simultaneously watching on 2 different TVs. It was almost like you're watching this one and you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, what are they gonna do? Oh, they're doing so. Oh, and you're just back and forth. You're just on like 2 screens the whole time.
Even here in Spinnaker newsroom, we had both of the games on at one time.
We did. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. So it's United States versus Iran.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chatter about that game, a lot of talk about where it was going to go. The United States, like 12 shots on goal, 12.
Yeah.
They took advantage of play, and they were just going for it. They were going for any and every shot they could get, because they knew that Iran was gonna have a hard fight against them. And they were looking to, keep the U.S. from getting into bracket play, which was, very, 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 good on them to do that. But, it was a hard-fought game because of the simple fact that, Iran fouled way more.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking to try to knock them out. And then, lo and behold, Christian Pulisic came out of, nowhere with a goal. kind of hurt himself though.
Yeah,
In the process of the goal,
Yeah.
collided with the goalie
Yeah.
in the 38th minute of the game, which put them up 1-0, and that ended up being the final score.
Yeah.
But man, like, there was later on, I was following him on social media, and he went to the hospital. He said he had a little bit of bruising, inside of his hip area where he hit, but they cleared him to play, and he'll come back out and play against Netherlands
Yep.
in the first bracket.
Yeah. Knockout play, because he really put out a good showing, and also Timothy Way. Timothy Way consistently, he's been very consistent over this World Cup. He had a header toward the end of the first half, but it didn't count because they said it was offsides. It was a really close call. I don't know. I feel like it could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, the refs ended up calling offside, so it didn't count. But the U.S. had a great showing. They stepped up to the plate when they needed to, and they got the job done. Because I'm pretty sure whoever won this game would have advanced, right? Because both of them, Iran beat Wales and then the U.S. Yeah, so great showing again by both of these teams.
Yeah. Something notable from that game is one of the, Iran players, their substitute, got a yellow card from the bench.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what for, but yes, he got a yellow card from the bench.
Yeah.
Probably because he was probably doing something he wasn't supposed to, or saying something that was, making the officials mad.
Sometimes in sports, you're on the bench, and I remember when I used to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
People would be on the bench, saying a couple of words, and the refs would walk past and say, "Hey, watch it now before I, give you a tech." It's just, it's sport. It happens in sport. But it's something that some refs in certain sports and in certain regions take very seriously. So that's something that players got to watch out for.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one, and this one we're gonna jump around here a little bit. Now we're moving on to Group C play, and Group C is Argentina, Mexico,
Poland and Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those games were intense.
They were. Argentina and Poland, first of all.
Yeah.
Argentina just dominated possessions on that game. They after coming off that loss to Saudi Arabia, they realized that the whole world's laughing at them. Who expected Argentina to lose to Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia really came out strong and upset them. Funny fact, I found out, I don't know if you saw that video of Saudi Arabia's coach yelling to them at halftime in the locker room. Saudi Arabia's coach is actually, he's French.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the translator in the locker room, so he was speaking in English, yelling at them in English. And then there was someone from Saudi Arabia in there translating from English to Arabic. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, after coming off that loss, Argentina, they decided they have to prove himself against Poland, and they came out with the win 2-0.
Do you remember what he said in the locker room?
He emphasized Messi. He said something to the effect of all we're doing is watching Messi, or we're standing there asking him for a picture in the middle of the game, and because he's Messi. You don't see Messi. You don't play against Messi every day. But yeah, that was a pretty funny video. I couldn't help but laugh at that.
He kept referring to the fact that they weren't playing the ball well, and they were playing to the player, and basically giving Messi the ball.
Yeah.
Because you don't play against them, you're just like, oh, it's Messi.
Yeah, let's let him out.
Like, I can't beat him, so let me just give him the ball. He was like, no, play hard, get after it, go,
exactly.
And stop trying to sit there and try to be starstruck. Like, he's just another guy, just like you are. You're in the same place.
Just another player, exactly.
So let's get after it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, it was a hard game.
Yeah.
Two powerhouses in that game. You had Robert Lewandowski,
Yeah.
who just departed from Bayern Munich, and then you have Lionel Messi, and both of them, came out with a strong showing. They, two Titans, that I think two Titans in the game, and you could see it in the play, and they were hard fought, But Argentina overall, man, they had dominated field play, 73% possession of the ball, the whole game.
Yeah.
So you're talking, they had possession of the ball out of the 97 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
97 minutes. Like, you're probably talking, out of that, I think Poland had, 30, maybe 25?
Yeah.
25, 30 minutes out of that game. Not even that.
Wow.
Like, less than that of actual possession of the ball.
Yeah.
They had 4 shots on goal. 0 of them made anything.
No.
And you're ready for this? And this is what is insane. 23 shots on goal.
For Poland. Or for Argentina?
For Argentina.
Wow.
23 shots on goal.
Wow. And
Yeah.
staying on the topic of Argentina, I thought this was really interesting. Lionel Messi, he grew up in Argentina, and at the age of about 14 or 15, moved to Barcelona to play in club soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Before he played a single international game, Lionel Messi was eligible by FIFA to play for 3 different teams: Argentina, Italy, or Spain. Because he was obviously from Argentina, his grandfather's Italian, and then he lived in Spain for such a long time. And have you heard the story about how Argentina got him to play? No.
Mm-mm.
So the rule is in FIFA, once you play a game for a country and a revenue generating game, you have to get some type of clearance. It's really hard to get to play for another team. Argentina had a friendly, I forget who it was against, but about years ago, when Messi was still in his earlier ages, and they sold 3 tickets to the game, just so that would be a revenue stream game. So that means that he'd be locked in with Argentina, without nobody really knew what was going on until after it happened. I just thought that was really interesting. But having said that, I think he would have opted to play for Argentina regardless. Having said that, he was born and raised most of his childhood in Argentina. I just thought that was a really interesting fact.
Yeah. This is kind of like watching the game, Argentina fouled way more though.
Yeah.
And that was that's just because there was a lot of animosity between the two.
Yeah.
Going into this game, and the amount of shots on goal and how everybody played. There was a time where Messi saved a goal from actually happening, and that was actually pretty awesome. But they scored 2-0, so it knocked. It didn't knock anybody out, actually.
Yeah.
No, this one, because Poland and Argentina were 2 of the top teams in that bracket, that group play of C. So they moved on, and, this next game we're going to talk about, there was a chance for Mexico to take that number 2 spot, and it was kind of funny because we were watching the game simultaneously. And Poland was still on edge because if Saudi Arabia didn't score a goal and Mexico would have qualified and knocked Poland out. So everybody was still not happy. They were just tensed up. You could see it in the stands. People were glued to their phones. They were watching it how is this game going to end? So we'll move on to that Mexico-Saudi Arabia game.
Yeah.
That, oh my gosh.
What I would say was the funniest moment of that game. I think you remember this. One of the players from Mexico, he was complaining to the ref about something. The ref turned around. He kind of gave him a little.
Yes,
that a yellow card. Yeah.
Yes, we were watching that, and sometimes you get heated up, and they handed him a yellow card. He pushed him. It was
He turned around and said,
the ref was "Yo, you don't touch me."
No.
Yeah, I was watching that when I was you can't do that, bud. You can't do that, even though you want to, but you can't do that. You can't do that.
But you hate to see a great team like Mexico get eliminated, but it's a part of the sport. It's a part of the tournament. Mexico put out a great showing. Hats off to Mexico. it was a great game. I have to say they played great.
Mexico, man, it was a hard fought game for them
Mhm.
because they wanted it so bad, and it finally came in the 47th minute with a goal, which was awesome for them. They were super high on that goal, and Saudi Arabia made another mistake, and they capitalized on another goal. So that brought them 2-0, and everybody was like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Yeah, because at that very point when it was 2-0, I believe Mexico would have moved on to the next round, and then Saudi Arabia came in, and I can't remember which minute, and they scored.
Yeah.
So that eliminated Mexico from the round play because they weren't able to score again. Because the whole goal differential rule with the tiebreakers.
Yep. There's a whole. We were looking at it, yesterday as we were watching the game. We were looking at all the different rules that go along and how you do the things, and if somebody does this, and I think it was, for Mexico to move on that, they had to win outright, and Saudi Arabia needed to not score any goals.
Yeah.
And that means that because Saudi Arabia scored a goal, it brought them down in group play because of the point brackets that they are, using. But was kind of, shocking to me, is the amount of fouls in this game was almost 40. Between the two teams, there was a lot because they were both fighting for something. Saudi Arabia was fighting to keep Mexico out, and Mexico was fighting to keep themselves in.
Yeah.
And so everybody had that high-strung tension, and Mexico came out to dominate, and they had 26 shots on goal, and that was, the most I've seen of any team so far was 61% of possession in the game.
Going back to talking about fouls, we talked about Argentina's abundance of fouls against Poland, and now we talk about the fouls in the Mexico-Saudi Arabia game. I think it's the type of football or soccer, whatever you call it, type of the sport that they play in Central and South America, where it's more physical than it is in Europe. So when the Central and South American teams go to play against the Europeans aren't used to that type of physicality, and that's why when you go to the World Cup, obviously they have certain rules and regulations, and that's why there's so many yellow cards and fouls and stuff. So that's why you see Mexico had so many fouls against Saudi. Saudi had a lot of fouls too themselves, granted. But then you go in Argentina, when Argentina and Poland, those fouls were pretty lopsided. The physicality is just so much different on this side of the world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot going on in that game, and it ended up both Saudi and Mexico never made it to the bracket play, which I would love to see Mexico at least get in there and try something. So that's all that's happening right now. We've got a lot of games today that are going on. So let's see who's playing today. You have Canada. Oh, they're actually playing right now.
Canada's down 2-0 to Morocco as we speak at this moment.
And Croatia and Belgium right now, 29th minute, and 0-0.
So that next group, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan, and Spain. That is a group to watch.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting group. Costa Rica has surprised everyone. Japan has surprised everyone. Germany has surprised everyone. Spain has surprised everyone. Both in their own way, whether it be winning, losing. Japan beat Germany. Costa Rica beat Japan. Spain and Germany tied. This is a really on your feet group. It's a really fun group to watch. So,
we've got to talk about some other interesting news that's out there right now.
Yep.
Cristiano Ronaldo, as everybody knows, is now free agent out there looking for another team.
Yep.
Saudi Arabia has stood up and was like, we'll take you.
Yep.
For a cool $300 million.
Wow.
For 3.5 years, I think it was. That's, I think they actually upped it again, And so that's out there in the atmosphere. So he's got to think about that.
Yeah.
You know, I was like,
Those are some numbers.
Those are some numbers. Yeah. There's a couple other people, you know, that were looking to go other places. But, yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and it was actually pretty funny. You ever heard of Cristiano Ronaldo's hair goal? So after reviewing, and that's been a big thing in the World Cup, is reviewing stuff and looking and being like, hey, you know, the goal is not a goal anymore because of offsides or this and that. So they're looking at things, you know, from and from a different perspective. Like, you know, even though you have in the same thing in the NFL now, you know, even though you have line judges, you still have something that's looking at different angles, trying to figure out, you know, is things legal? And so, like, they've overturned what, I think there was like 18 or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think like 9 of them got overturned. But, like, there's been a good amount of things out there that people, you know, have, you know, looked at and been like, yo, nope, that's not a goal. He was offsides.
Yeah.
You know, and then the goal gets taken away, and people are like, what?
You know, in Ronaldo's case, you know, big ups to Adidas with, you know, the way that they designed these balls. They have a chip in the ball that there's a frequency chart, and whenever the ball is touched by anything, whether it be a foot, a head, the floor, a goalpost, there's a boost in the frequency. And the way that they proved that this goal was not Ronaldo's and it was his teammates was because when his teammate kicked it, there was a bump in the frequency. But at the given time, when Ronaldo claimed that his hair or his head touched the goal before it went in, there was no bump in frequency. So it's amazing the technology that they're able to use to tell this type of stuff. You know, it's really crazy.
It's 500 hertz IUM sensor.
Yeah.
And the connected ball technology, you know, it like technology has, you know, stepped up its game and really, you know, allowed a lot of things, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and we were also talking about, you know, who's going to take it all? And Winston thinks England's going to take it all.
It's coming home.
I think Argentina's going to take it. ESPN thinks Brazil. As of right now. That's right now. You know, still a lot of out there. You know, they have right now Argentina as 12% taking it. You know, as so far.
I will say, you know, they have Brazil winning it. Brazil has a really strong team. I've seen things where it says, you know, Brazil's second squad, their second lineup, is a whole nother World Cup team in itself. Like, they could beat some of the other first teams in the World Cup. Like, Brazil, consistently, every year, Brazil is a strong team.
They have Brazil at 25%.
Yeah.
25% taking it all right now.
Yeah.
And where does England stand?
9%.
9%.
9%. But you know, I
gotta. He's mad. He's mad.
I gotta support my heritage. You know, it's coming home. You know, it's, you know, Rashford, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling. You know, they're all, you know, you gotta support it. But you know, bringing up some of those players, another interesting thing that I saw over the Thanksgiving break was that I want to say it's about 170 players in the World Cup are playing for a team of which country they were not born in. For example, Raheem Sterling, who plays for England, was born in Jamaica. There was that Cameroon-Switzerland game. The guy from Switzerland who scored the goal to beat Cameroon is actually from Cameroon. He was born in Cameroon, which it's crazy, you know. It just tells, you know, people are moving. You know, people are moving for the better opportunities in their sport. You know, so I just thought that was such a interesting fact about this World Cup.
Yeah. Another interesting fact is they have United States as 1%. 1%.
There's still hope for
Taking
those
it all.
Americans out there.
Taking it all home. 1%. Hey, I'm happy with the 1%. I'm happy with the 1%. Yeah.
Well,
But-
they just have to prove it against the Netherlands next game, you know, in the knockout round.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
it'll a good
fun.
game.
But we thank you guys for watching us here. We're just gonna do some more bracket play in a little bit.
Yep.
That starts on Friday. No, is it Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday. One,
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
But we'll be picking up on Monday. You know, looking at bracket play that happened over the weekend, so that we can give a recap to you guys of some of the more interesting things that happened. You know, I've learned a lot more about soccer now. You know, I love soccer, but I've never been invested into watching it throughout the year. And
Yeah.
you know, I love the World Cup. The World Cup to me is one of the best showings of people. So I'm always here for it.
Yeah.
And me and Winston will,
We'll be back to you. We'll be back
Yeah.
to you with some more World Cup review.
yeah,
Qatar 2022.
take it easy.